How ya? And welcome to episode 54 of the Table Bard podcast with me, Jim Wynn, and Philip Noon. Philip, flying without wings.
Jim, right, we posted a video on our TikTok about yesterday.
Yeah,
Yesterday, where you were talking about
the wings, the political wings. Everyone wants to pick a wing. Everyone wants to fight a wing. Nobody wants to eat wings. Bad for you, apparently.
and the dualities are collapsing.
The dualities are collapsing. My God, folks, once you've seen it, you can see it everywhere.
Have an early drink.
Have
The
an early
dualities are
drink.
collapsing.
Yeah, the dualities are collapsing. So basically, sadly, this fellow, I can't remember what, Charlie Kirk was shot and killed somewhere
in Utah.
In Utah. And, you know, it exploded a lot of political leanings because he was a right-wing guy. I mean, I'm not too familiar with him myself. I've seen videos of him going onto college campuses and like grilling people about their beliefs and stuff. That's all I really know. I haven't seen him in
Is he
years.
similar to like Ben Shapiro? Is it like?
I think so.
Was
I don't know. But anyway, nobody deserves to be shot for their beliefs. That's
Jesus, no.
I mean, that's standard stuff, isn't it? Really. But yeah, but I think what I saw on the very little bit I watched it, because I don't like to go down these rabbit holes. I like to just accept the world as it is. But there was people on the left making jokes because this fella had said in the past that school shootings, maybe a few people have to die in order to preserve the right to bear arms and stuff like this. And obviously
To protect the Second Amendment.
To protect the Second Amendment. And obviously now he turns out to get shot by a gun. And like, whatever your political leanings, you can see the kind of irony, the kind of funniness in that, obviously, and people in the left are making jokes about it, but it's obviously people on the right are saying it's not something to be joked about, and you can understand both perspectives, and I can see them and allow them to have it, but it's just, we like to generalise. So what I see is when something like this happens, somebody goes, the left are all this, or the right are all this. Well, basically, we just go straight into generalisation mode, where we say, oh, the left are all crazy, woke, mind-obsessed warriors, or the right are all fascist, you know, whatever you like to do. We like to throw everybody into a category when something like this, when something shocks our core belief, or when something gives us a surprise like this, we automatically go into they're all like that. And that's where all the chaos starts, because, of course, anybody on the left or anybody on the right, you can take any two people and they won't have the same views. Even if they have the same political views, they won't have the same personal view of that political view. You know, everyone has their own little personal view. So when something like this happens and you see people online saying things you don't like, or you do like, or you support, or you don't support, just realise that they're just seeing it from their point of view and try and be the love in the moment. That's my view on it. But of course, please let us know your views on it. So we want to talk about when we, like we've talked about on the podcast before, when we get dragged to one extreme or the other, we go to the right wing or the left wing, we forget we're the bird, you know. We need to work together to fly this thing. And so it's just something interesting I've noticed on my own timeline in the last few days, where people have been obviously triggered by this in some way or another, whether it be for or against whatever your political views are. So let us know what you think in the comments. And
do you feel sorry for the old man that they jumped on and arrested straight away?
I didn't see. Like, I don't.
So he gets shot in the chest. I think the bullet, with bullet spins, and I think it came out like it was graphic. It was everywhere, and there was close-ups of it and all. Now, it turned out that the suspect is a 22-year-old called Tyler Robinson from Utah. We don't know enough about him yet. By the time the podcast comes out, we'll probably know everything about him. So apparently he was on the roof, like a good bit away, and he took the shot. But in the immediate aftermath, they just jumped on some old fella that was like close by and like pinned him down.
Oh, yeah? Well, it's panic, you know? When something like that happens...
Imagine being him.
Yeah.
Imagine being him and going like, lads, me bollocks.
It wasn't me. Yeah, I didn't see it. I haven't seen it. Like, it's just, I don't follow these things. Like I said, we did a live before this, and as I was saying, when people look on their timeline and see like right wing, left wing, all this stuff, I see sharks attacking everybody everywhere, because that's what I engage with on social media. So you have to understand that because you see it on your social media all the time doesn't mean that's the whole
He
world like
actually
that.
physically means he sees sharks all the time. That he's not using the metaphor for the
Yeah.
right and left wing.
Yeah.
He's afraid of sharks, and sharks just show up on his timeline
because
all the time.
like if you look through my Facebook, I'll take a video of it, of a screenshot of it, and I'll post it if we ever clip this. If I look down my thing, I see shark attacks from 9 years ago, like stories about it. You know, it's all because the algorithm knows that that's what I engage with, and that's what it feeds me, and that's the way life and the algorithm works. So if you get angered by something like from the left wing or the right wing, and you keep engaging with it, looking at the comments, that's what you're going to see over and over
No,
again.
I wouldn't say I engage with 9/11, but that's my whole algorithm.
Never forget, actually. That was yesterday.
That was yesterday.
And we didn't. We mentioned it. But
Now, Jim, I have a story for you. Are you ready for this? Right. So, because you're into like the deeper meaning and you know, spirituality and stuff like that, right? So I had something wild happen to me the other night. So I'm doing a gig in a pub in Temple Bar, and the place is full and it's bouncing. Now this has freaked me out. Like I've been thinking about this for 2 days since, right? The place is on skates. Everybody's having a good crack. Everybody's drinking. Everybody's into it. Where am I focused?
on the one person who's not having fun.
On the one person that isn't on the same vibe as everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Now this one person just happens to be a particularly good-looking woman sitting by herself. Right. But like when I say she wasn't into it, it wasn't that she wasn't like sweet Carolinian with everybody else or like Oggy or any of that shit. Like it was like she was just sitting intently watching everything. Almost doing what I was doing, but she was doing it down there. It was as if she was watching the room from the other side. And I was like, that's fucking mad. So in the middle of the gig, she walks up and she hands me this, right? Out of nowhere. She just walks up in front of everybody, in front of the whole room. The place is going mad and all. And I've just finished a song and people are like, you know, do whatever, clapping, kind of talking. And she just walks up and she hands me this stone, right? So there's an M on the front of it, right? And on the back of it, it says, "It was," right? Now, she walked up so confidently and just handed this to me and like looked in my eyes as she did it and she was smiling. And I took it and I was like I didn't want to be a fucking agent and like pretend I didn't know what it was or like, you know what I mean? I looked at it, it was like, as if like we were, it was like this is
like a stone cutters.
like something mad. I was like, you know, and I took it, I was like, to put this in my pocket, what the fuck, I've got another song to do. I'm holding a guitar pick and does that, right? So I was like, right. So put it in my pocket and she just kind of smiled and just walked straight out of the pub, never to be seen again, right?
Yeah.
So at that, I'm getting ready to play the next song and one of the boys comes out from behind the bar and he goes, "What did the sexy witch give you?"
I hope she didn't give you a black stone, Philip,
Right.
because the last fella who got that never came back.
So I was like,
Should we show the stone? Show the
yeah,
stone up?
so this is the stone, right?
Hold it still for
Yeah,
I'll
so it has an M on the front of it in gold, and on the back of it, it has EHWAZ. It was, right? Now, I went home and immediately Googled this.
Yeah.
This is called the Ehwaz rune, or UNE,
Right.
right? And it's a bond about loyalty, protection, a journey, forward progression, but it's associated with a horse. And it's associated with the spiritual horse inside yourself. And the rune helps guide your horse on your spiritual journey within yourself.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. But it's particularly a horse. The rune is about a horse.
Right.
Right? So the Ehwaz rune is about a horse and your relationship through loyalty with the horse inside yourself.
Right.
Right? During that gig, I've told nobody, I've just sang songs at this point. I've done nothing else. My name's Philip.
Yeah.
Philip is from the Greek Philippos, which means lover of horses.
Oh, yeah?
Isn't that fucking mad?
There's a beautiful little synchronicity there, yeah?
So she just walks, she's there all night. Everybody's going, like, I mean, when I say there was like maybe 150 people in the pub, everybody's going mad except for this one person. And I'm thinking, why the fuck aren't you into this? You know what I mean? Like just fucking clap or something, right? So like, but that's what I do whenever, that's where my head is always going. It's always looking at the person that's not. And she just walks up as if I've met her my whole life, as if I've known her my whole life, just hands me that and just walks straight out of the pub. And I was like, that's fucking mad.
Yeah, that's for you to take as whatever way you want to take it. Now you have the free will to think about it whatever way you do, but these things happen to us, and it's an opportunity for us to examine ourselves and our journey. And
but I think that's what I've been doing the last couple of days. I've been like, maybe because it probably couldn't
what
have
does the horse signify to you?
I don't know if it's the horse. I think if anything, in the past month or so, with all the traveling I've been doing, with all the gigs I've been doing, I've been slipping back into old patterns.
Right.
Like partying and drinking and acting the bollocks. Like, maybe, like, more so than, like, you know, I kind of had I was kind of on a nice little
balance,
on a nice little routine, and then traveling and gigging comes in, and then I start acting the bollocks again. And I think she probably came in, or this stone probably came in just at the right time to tell me, like, fucking cop yourself on.
Yeah, it wouldn't tell you. It gives you the opportunity to examine it, and that's what I mean. You can take that stone anyway, so it's not like the stone is telling you anything. It's a symbol for you to realize within yourself. So you can that message in yourself could be anything, but what you've taken it as is this, and that's where I think you should follow that.
Yeah,
you know, your own intuition will tell you what it is. Like the stone is just a symbol of, gives you an opportunity to say, makes you stop and think and go, how does that affect? Like, how does this make me feel? What have I been doing lately? So yeah, maybe.
Or maybe she was so clever. She was just watching me do. I was watching her do what I was doing, but from the other side of the room. Maybe she was watching me and analysing me and going, do you know what? This boy's a bit of a fucking lunatic. I better write an M on a stone here and turn his life around.
This shy story. Most witches store a pot, but she's storing shy.
She was like, this boy's under mad pressure here. Everybody in the room's into it, and he's over here looking at me, not enjoying himself.
Yeah. We're ruining I'm going to ruin his life with this. What's it called? A horse rune.
A horse rune. Yeah. So the Mehwaz rune. I don't know if there's other runes. Maybe there is, but that's
witchcraft is a big thing. Like all this, the occult and all that jazz. There's lots of stuff to it. But like with anything, like I think there's not, like I wear this crystal around my neck. It's not because I think the crystal does that, and it's just a reminder for me at times to focus. And I think of it like when it's hanging in the center of my chest, it means that I'm being more. It gives me a reminder to balance. So it's like nothing does anything. It's what it feelings or gives you gives you a reminder to do, or a discipline or a ritual or something. So I don't say like this stone means that, but what does it make you feel like? It's the same with the numbers. When I see the 1111s, or people say it means angel numbers, or if that's what it means to you, that's what it means to you. But you have to take it. What does it make you feel? Follow your intuition instead of what you read. You know, that's the best way. I would say the best way of dealing with kind of these synchronicities and stuff.
Now, following intuition's a big one, because we were just talking about this. We were talking about if you followed your intuition, maybe you wouldn't get scammed as badly as some of the women.
Oh yeah, I've been watching Romcon the last few days. It's a show about it's like the Tinder swindler, but it's the girl who got swindled by the Tinder swindler, and now she's on a mission to bring to justice other kind of men who take women for loads of money and stuff like that. It's very interesting. It's very, very, very. You know, I don't want to say funny, but I find it.
I know it is.
I find it quite funny. Like it's just because obviously I'm not involved in it, and it's obviously tough for these.
Because you see, these are normal lads. Like when you hear about Chris Martin scamming a woman out of $500,000 because he needs a few pounds for his next album, you're like, or Leonardo DiCaprio sent it. He needed money for his hospital bills, and he sent like you woman a picture of a clearly fucking photoshopped Leonardo DiCaprio face of a guy.
So you can catch anybody at the right time with the right scam, with the right angle, and we're all can fall for any scam.
Man, I have a house full of magic beans.
Don't we all? Don't we all? And no giants, not yet anyway. We could be giants. But we were talking about actually in the car on the way up that women, men when they're scamming women out of money.
So just give us an example, man. Remember you were talking about with the...
I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but there was one guy in it who said he was in the military, and he talked about how his friend was killed, and he had to send money to his friend. You know, and he said he had PTSD, and he talked about and so this girl had bought all this story from him, and then when he left her in a load of debt and ran, or whatever happened, and then it turned out that he never went to Iraq or Afghanistan. He never knew the friend. He had a tattoo of the friend's name on his arm. Never knew the friend. Never did, like, you know. So all these things, basically, really like elaborate lies to get money out of people. And then he went on to do it with somebody else. Nearly every person in it so far has gone on to do it with multiple people. So it's like they're scammers basically. But we were talking about how for men to scam women out of money, they have to have this elaborate emotion. They have to create this emotional connection with vulnerable women. But for women to get men out of money, they just have to show a bit of skin.
You see that? we were just saying this, like, especially with the whole pay pig thing and all. Like, there are men out there willing to send the money for nothing. Like, you know what I mean?
You don't have to scan. You don't have to make up an elaborate story. Just go, I'll show you. I'll send you a picture of me feet. And
that's 100%. Do you want 5 or 600?
And it's not just straight men. If we had Andy Lee and the Richie on, the gay for pay, the gay lads would pay to see Andy Lee's bicep and all. Like, it's men are very simple in that way. It's simple to scam a man out of money. You just have to send him something that he desires. Whereas women, it seems like you have to create like an emotional connection.
You see, I don't even think we told this story on the podcast, but we can tell it now. We don't have to clip it, but we'll just tell it because it wasn't our story to tell. It was the boys telling us. One of the lads, he actually wasn't on the podcast. He was actually, so Andy Lee and Richie were on the podcast with us, but one of the lads that was there, remember the other lad?
Yeah.
He was telling us that he had a lawyer, a solicitor in London, naked on a sitting room floor, on his hands and knees, and he was feeding him money.
Yeah.
Do you remember he was saying he said he just wanted to kind of be my little lapdog, and I was just feeding him £20 notes and all.
Yeah.
Like, we're not living at all, Jim.
Well, it is what it is. Like, people are into whatever they're into. You know what I mean? And it seems to be that the more in power you are, the more you want to be treated like you have no power. And vice versa, maybe. I don't know about vice versa, but
I'd love to actually get a dominatrix on and have her.
We should get a dominatrix on, yeah.
Because so I remember when we lived out in because it's a sin out there and everything. But I remember there was a girl out there and she was friends with our friends. And I remember some of the stories she told us, like, because she was working in London and she said there was a guy, like, I'm not going to give away his job or his title or his position, but he was very, very high up guy. And his way for making an appointment with her, now she's a high class dominatrix. She was Lebanese, absolutely gorgeous looking girl. And his way for making an appointment with her was he would text his location to her and when he was going to be there. And she'd come there in like a long black coat and she would take the appointment card and put it on the floor and stand on it. And he would have to leave whatever table he was at and he'd have to stand near her, pretend he wasn't talking to her, but he'd have to beg her to be able to get down on his hands and knees and take the appointment card from under her under her boots. So like, so he'd say, please, can I, and she'd say, the appointment is there. And he'd have to like pretend to be a tiny shoelace or whatever. And he'd have to like take it from under her boot. And then she'd just walk off and leave him on the floor. Like, just.
Yeah.
So I like a dominatrix would be great for something like that. I'd love to hear
all the stories,
the inner workings of what we don't see or what we're not hearing.
Because like, for everything you do see and everything you do experience, like we always talk about in this world where we're all the same thing with our different views, and we see different things. So when we say the world's like this, the world's not like anything. The world is always what we see it as. And we can only see it from our one perspective. We can share our perspectives and that can influence people, or we can attract or deflect. What's the opposite to attract? Deflect, I'm going to say. People, and that's just the way the world works. So, yeah, so people, like, it wouldn't do anything for me being dominated. But I can, like, each to their own. If you want to pay a girl, I mean, in a weird way, it's a bit like we talk about the female and male energy and how historically in our own history it's been a male-dominated energy, and now that's part of a duality collapsing, that the male energy wants to be submissive to the female energy. And I think that's happening more and more in the world in general, because I think like the gender roles have stabilized. And when I go to the playground at the school, there's as many daddies there now, and there used to be just all mammies. And then when you go to the workplace, there's women in positions of power now, and it used to be all men. Same with sports, everything. It's all coming together, and the lines between the genders, of course, because there's trans and millions of genders, they're all being blurred. It's just a matter of, and it looks chaotic to the ego, but when you've seen that it's all one, it's quite amusing.
It wasn't chaotic to Charlie Kirk. He was very staunch on his belief in it.
He was very, yeah, exactly. Like he said, he actually said, I saw one clip I saw of him saying was that maybe it takes a few people to lose their lives to guns to keep the Second Amendment or whatever it is. And so there's a weird irony to it. You can say it's a karma, or you can say whatever it is, but it just is what it is. Like, and
he probably should have used the term omelets and eggs.
In hindsight, in hindsight for the next fella. But yeah, so what we said in the video is it's strange because speaking of dualities collapsing, it used to be a few years ago now. It was the right wing were all the extremists, and the left wing were all the moral high ground, like, we know best for everybody. And now the right wing are all the we know best for everybody moral high ground, and the left wing are all the mad extremists. So it just goes to show you, you can't say the right wing is something. It's this now, it'll be something else in another space. Same with the left wing, it's this now, it'll be something else. And it's just all the waves bouncing off each other. And the more we project fear onto it, the more fear we'll get back. The more we project love onto it, the more it'll be brought into the light. That's my belief on it.
I remember Chris Rock. He said something similar. He was talking about being liberal, and he's like, "Well, I'm very liberal about some things," and then about he's like, "I don't have a specific view on," and I think that's what it is. It's about just trying to see it all, and not aligning yourself with one side. I know some people align themselves with a side because as much as they might have some belief in the other side, they don't want to be seen in that side.
Yeah, that happens. It also happens with when someone is, when you're brought up in a kind of liberal environment, and then you see that the hypocrisy in the liberal side, some people jump all the way to the right. Then they say, well, if that can be wrong, I have to go to the other side. Whereas, like, you could say try and find the middle ground, I would say. But I mean, everyone is entitled to do whatever they want. But you see a lot of that when you find your illusion shattered in one area, you might go to the other extreme instead of trying to examine it or seeing why. But everywhere you go, every illusion you make for yourself will be shattered at some point.
Well, if you think about it, everybody's illusion was shattered last night in Cavan. A lot of people met their idol Johnny Rotten last night in Cavan from the Sex Pistols.
A lot of people would wonder how Johnny Rotten became your idol, but yeah.
John Lydon.
Yeah.
And so John Lydon famously came out in May this year, and he said kneecap should be kneecapped.
Right.
That was his. So he has some mad views, and I don't know how he thought he was going to come to Ireland and get away with sharing them.
Yeah. In Cavan.
In Cavan of all fucking but like in general, like, just
like the more you go to the north, you're going to have more northerly you go, the worse the back.
For a man who's worn a Union Jack on his chest his whole life.
yeah, liberties, literally. But yeah, I mean, it's funny. He said something about kneecap being kneecapped, but like he would be what I would call like a contrarian. He's someone who, like, that he's always thrived off being like the Eamon Dunphy character or the Roy Keane character, the one who has the different view to everybody just for the sake of it.
However, this is interesting. The Eamon Dunphy character is still vilified for his views. However, people have done a full 360 and accepted Roy Keane for
because
it.
Roy Keane's now softened, and he does podcasts now, and he's shown like his soft side, and he's, because I guarantee you Eamon Dunphy has a soft side. It's just not what's publicised in his books and his thing, like, it's just, you get to see it now with Roy Keane because he does all the football shows, and he talks about his feelings, and he talks about, you get to see it into his life. And it's the same with anybody. So when you say, like, someone on the right, they're all this way, they're on the left, they're all this way. But if you saw their daily life, you would just say, oh, actually, they're just exactly like me, but we disagree on this one tiny little viewpoint, which really none of us have any control over. I mean, we're all just following the frequency as it bounces around.
It's just everybody's view on what they want their future to be.
Yeah, but we only have now. What you want the future to be and what it is will never be the same. I mean, even if all your dreams come true, they won't be exactly as you thought.
No matter how many voice notes we send and kill each other over.
yeah. So me and Philip like to have our own disagreements as well, but we always invariably come back and realise, but we are the Temple Bard podcast at our heart.
Sometimes I just instigate them for the dopamine. I think that's what it is.
Philip's got a bit of Eamon Dunphy about him, for sure. Ran off with a young one.
Well, yeah, remember he said that was a Rod Little.
Rod Little. It was about Roy Keane actually, because Eamon Dunphy wrote Roy Keane's book, and so
and your man Rod Little went in them, and Eamon Dunphy says, "Hey," and you know who wrote that? and the thing is, Johnny Giles knew straight away, not or Bill or whoever it was, he knew not to judge, because he knew that Eamon Dunphy knew, and he was like, I can't recall offhand. I'll tell you who wrote it. Rod Little. Isn't he the fella who ran away with a young one?
Only on Irish TV, like, it's such an Irish thing, isn't it? Just to have the notion to be able to do that.
But you remember he used to come on. Remember he used to come on and he'd be like, Eamon Dunphy would be well jarred and all doing that.
Yeah. Like, you would. But I mean, like, so our best pundits used to go on telly jarred. Our best football players used to go on the pitch jarred.
Man, have you ever seen...
Our best musicians used to go on the stage jarred.
100%.
You know, our best actors used to be jarred all the time. Peter O'Toole and all these lads.
Peter O'Toole. That book, Hellraisers, actually. Peter O'Toole, Richard Harris.
The fellow who died in Malta, was he?
Oh, you man that died in the pub with the Sambucas.
Yeah. I was in Malta. Did we say this in the podcast before?
I don't. We definitely said it, but I don't know if we said it in the podcast.
There's a pub in Malta. The fellow who was in Gladiator. What's his name?
Oliver Reed.
Oliver Reed. Perfect.
Oliver Reed.
There's a pub in Malta in the old city there, where the pub where he died actually, and on this they were shooting Gladiator at the time, and Oliver Reed died in this pub. He was drinking with a load of squaddies. And on this, you can buy the T-shirts with his last drinks order, and it's all like 12 pints of this 5 shot. Like it was a fucking some drink order.
Them boys used to go missing and all when to be filming. Them boys were mad.
Yeah, but I mean, so it just goes to show you there's a romantic side to that, and it's the same with drugs in music as well. Like all the best musicians have this like affinity with drugs and stuff, and a lot of people would think that you need to do drugs then to...
But if you think about it, right, there's a very famous picture of Ozzy Osbourne, he's holding up a big bag of cocaine, right?
Yeah.
Like huge. And people like make a meme about it now, and they're like, oh, Ozzy with his sugar for the, like that. Like, yet Liam Payne died the exact same way, and everybody was like, oh, he had this in his system, and he had this in his system, and he had this in his system, because he doesn't have an image associated with someone who should be taking all those drugs.
That's a very interesting observation. Yeah,
because you see, if Pete Doherty dies tomorrow and he's got this in the system and this in the system, this in the system, but Liam Payne doesn't, it's like, no, he's in a boy band. He's not supposed to be able to take. He's not supposed to take drugs.
Yeah. Probably the same with the lads out of Westlife and Boyzone and all as well, because they're probably people. If you're in the music industry, you're going to be exposed to these things. It doesn't matter if you're in fucking Spinal.
We don't know if any of them boys. I'm sure they have.
I'm sure they've been exposed to it anyway.
Robbie Williams was in Take That, and he was a lunatic.
Yeah, and he was taking this, that, and everything.
He took more than everybody.
Yeah. So again, we have these views of people that we can't know. Like with anybody, we can't know anybody's actual views. We project our own views onto their views. There's a great video on TikTok, a fella saying, "How can you live with people not liking you?" And the fella comes up and he stitches it and he goes, "Because I know that I don't know they like me, or I can't tell what they're thinking about me. What I'm doing is I'm projecting what I think they're thinking about me onto myself. So what I'm really doing is I'm judging myself through them." And I'm judging them as well by putting my own insecurity onto them and flashing it back.
That's very interesting.
That's what we're all doing. Like, that's what we're all doing all the time. We always have these conversations in our head where, oh, they'll say this and they say that, but like, we're just saying it to ourselves. At the end of the day, like, we're just creating this in our own head, and we can't actually know anybody else's point of view. And even if they are thinking something about you, you have no control over it. So it's a pointless. Enjoy it if you want, or make yourself suffer. That's your free will choice, baby. But the more you can kind of just let things, look at them, let them go. Look at them, don't become them, don't judge them, don't push them away, don't grab onto them. Just look at them, let them dissipate. And that's how it works.
Easier said than done, but
Easier said than done for the ego. But once you practice with it, it's you become better at it, and you can. I've been reading a good book now this week called by Adi Shanti called. I'm getting ChatGPT to send me every morning. I go, can you give me an excerpt from the Law of One regarding whatever I'm thinking about at that moment, like about good versus evil or something, and it gives me one. And I said to it, I've read a lot of spiritual books. Can you give me an example of a good book that I might like that I might not have read yet? That kind of whatever I said, I can't remember the prompt, and it's told me this book, and I tried it out, and it's quite good.
Good
so
stuff.
Like, ChatGPT is it can give you random things, it can give you whatever you want, and again, that is ChatGPT is me reflecting it back to me. Like there's no everything's the creator, so it's all pushing around. But what I was telling you in the car was I've been interested in astral projection lately.
Yes. So what's astral projection?
Astral projection, if anyone doesn't know, it's like it's this thing. It's where people have out of body experiences.
Okay.
And you can do it through practice. Usually, it's around sleep. Anyone who's had sleep paralysis.
But I think that's how Sadhguru.
Yeah.
I think that's how Sadhguru's wife died.
Yeah.
So they were meditating in a temple in India, and they were like doing this next level meditation where they allowed themselves to like leave their bodies or whatever. Like I didn't think this was real, but she fucking died.
Yeah.
She was just doing it, and she just like did it and never came back.
Well, could happen. Yeah.
Fuck that, Jim.
But that is not like that.
I'm gonna come in here someday. You're just gonna be sitting like that.
But this is the thing: is
Jim, you ready to do the podcast, Jim?
If you like,
Jim,
that is just the next. It's just the end of this moment and on to the next one. But anyway, what the astral projection is, it's
but I'm enjoying this one.
But what you do is you astral project every night when you sleep because you're dreaming anyway. You're not. Your body's asleep, but your consciousness goes on. So that's
okay.
So basically, what you're trying to do is keep your body asleep, but your awareness of that consciousness awake. So there's lots of different practices to do it. And there's lots of people who swear they do it and they can. I've done it a few times, not on purpose. Like if you hear people who have sleep paralysis, I've had that a few times. I've had it in times where I was above my body, floating, and I couldn't move. Like I was paralyzed, but I was looking down at my body and I couldn't move. And there was shadows going around the room and all this stuff. And I thought, am I dreaming? But I was wide awake and I could think about it. I can remember it. So what happens with astral projection is you're projecting literally. So if you are fearing, you'll get fearful things like dreaming, and if you're calm, you can get calm, and apparently you can go through different realms and you can create things and you can fly and all sorts of lucid dreaming and stuff. Another time it was around the time I had the spiritual awakening. I fell asleep one time on my bed and I woke up and I was in my room and I looked back at me. I was lying on my bed and I didn't think that was weird, but then I thought there was a drawer that was out of place in my room, and as soon as I went, that drawer's not supposed to be there, I went shot through the roof. Like it shot through the roof, like it felt like going into space. And then it was like I was in this world where it was all just mad different designs of purple, like weird.
Right.
Yeah, so it's something that happens to us all and it's possible. But anyway, so I've been watching a lot of videos about it and trying it when I'm falling asleep without much success. But then they say that the best time to do it is in the morning. You wake up for 10 minutes, then you go back to bed and then you try it. It's all breathing exercises, meditation. Meditation is, if you do it regularly, it makes it easier to do. So last night I woke up about 5 o'clock in the morning. I said, I'll try this now. And I could feel it working. I could feel my body was paralyzed, and I could feel like a buzzing in my ears, and I was just breathing, and I was letting the thoughts come and go, and I was breathing, and I was like, I hope I pop out now soon. And I felt like I was getting close, and then the baby kicked me in the head. And I just went, fuck. He just went, Mommy, kicked me in the head. But I'm gonna keep at it. I'll let you know if I pop out. But there's lots of videos about it on online, and people swear by having these out, and they can tell you things that happen like in the world in different parts. Like, you know, when people have near-death experiences and they can tell you what people said in the room or outside the room.
But do you know about the 100 monkey effect?
No.
Do you know the one where they put like 100 monkeys?
And one of them write Shakespeare. Is that one?
So they put 100 monkeys on an island or something, and then one on another island away from them.
Oh yeah, the morphic resonance.
So the collective consciousness or something, and the
morphic resonance. So like when the wheel was invented in one part of the world, it was invented in another part of the world as well.
Yeah.
When you get rats they put rats in a maze in one part of the world, and then the rats in another part of the world find it easier and they'll do it better because there's there's a racial or special connection. Like there's connection. It's all one at the end of the day, but between races and species as well, there's a racial ego and racial body, and so there's all. Do
you know the way, right? So do you know the way there's different, and this is mad. Do you know the way there's different species of dogs? Different species of cats, different, like, you know, you can get Sphinx cats, you can get, you know, like dogs, German Shepherds, Alsatians, Labradors, Poodles. I believe there's different species of humans. Like, if you look at certain species of humans, some people, and I don't just mean like, you know, like in, you know, in Asia, everybody looks Asian.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, some people look like a specific type of person if you look at them.
Yeah, there's an archetype thing. I see that all the time in people. I recognize that, just something in their face or something.
And a lot of people who look alike sometimes get together.
It's funny because I was in the sauna today and there was two people that were very similar looking, that were a couple that got into the sauna with me, and I went, huh.
Like, I swear, like, it's mad. I've seen so many couples and I've been like, you two look like you could be brother and sister.
That's exactly what I thought when they came into the sauna.
I swear to God.
I said, that's weird for a brother and sister to go into the sauna, and then I was like, oh no, they're together.
In the comments, have you noticed?
Yeah, have you noticed that?
Have you noticed that? Have you noticed a lot of couples who, you know, look really alike?
And they say as well that people, when with pets, they begin to look like their pets, and the pets begin to look like them.
No way.
Because do you never hear that?
No,
people,
that's
people
mad.
begin to look like their dad. Well, it makes sense because, well, they say in the law one anyway that the second density animals like dogs are the closest to the third density where humans are.
So the dogs start recreating facial expressions, and
they're as part of the frequency spectrum. They're starting to vibrate up to the third density. So they, in their next lives, they'll be not human or they'll be self-aware in some manifestation of self-awareness. So they get closer to us, they become more like us, and maybe they're mirroring it back to us, or, you know,
right.
It's whatever way you want to think about it.
That's very interesting.
It is an interesting thing. But yeah, astral projection, I'll keep you posted if I keep it up, and I'll let you know if I pop out of my body. I might come and visit some of you in your sleep. Won't haunt you.
Good stuff. You're going to have wee meetups and all.
We'll have wee meetups.
You'll all have little astral meetups.
Little astral meetups, yeah. If you've ever seen that film, Soul.
That'd be some way to grow an audience.
A little astral podcast.
You just having all these astral meetups, and come here, listen, when you go back to your bodies, follow the Temple Bar podcast.
yeah. Just going around people, follow the Temple Bar podcast.
Yeah, just going up telling them all astrally.
Not even astral, we're just going past all the sleeping people, like, follow the Temple Bar podcast. So let us know what you think about the wings. I mean, everyone's entitled to pick a wing or hate a wing or love a wing, but can we just understand that we're all just looking at it through our own perspective? And that's it for episode 54 of the Temple Bard podcast with me, Jim Wynn, and Philip Noon.
Stay bold. Sláinte.